Oh my God, we're actually live. I can't believe they let us do this.
Hey, Maria. Hello, everybody. Anyone there? Cat? You beat Jay to it. Well done. So,
Yes.
Lars, this wonderful gentleman to my left here, we had a wonderful plan for this takeover. And then we realized that a fight would be an issue because we can't actually physically reach each other. And the only other people in the house with me are my wife and kids, and they beat the crap out of me. So that kind of cancels that one.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd just talk some shit, answer some questions, and just see if anybody has anything they want to ask us, and tell you about some terrible stories. If
And
you can think of any that might even be true about our lot. Hey, JD. Lars, do you want to start us off? I mean,
yeah, totally. The thing we were discussing earlier, because we want to start out with something that demanded a lot of preparation and a lot of afterthought, and then we realized, well, we don't have the goddamn brains for that, so it has to be really dumb, and well, that's us. So basically, we heard about a perfect question as an introduction to the last from the last live, and we thought, like, that is what we're starting with. What was the last fight you were in? Also, did you win? That's a bonus question. How about you, Jez?
Oh, you what a bastard for throwing that back at me. The last fight I was in, I don't know, in all honesty. I think the last proper fight I was in was actually before I got married. It's like 10 years now since I've been very badly behaved. Yeah. I think it was Sunderland. So for those that don't know, in my area where I live, sorry, that's my camera tracking me again because I talk with my hands a lot. Where I live in this area, there's two major cities. There's Newcastle, which I lived in for a while, and the Sunderland, which Kev Sinclair lives in. And yeah, that's pretty much all I need to say about the two cities. But you know, Sunderland is pretty much scum of the earth. Not that I would ever say that, of course. God, if it was electronic, we'd constantly fight with our keyboards, Maria. The last fight that I had that I can remember off the top of my head, I was out. Now, this will surprise you all. I was drunk.
No.
I know. You wouldn't believe that I was drinking. And for whatever reason, I had a giant afro on. It wasn't my own hair, obviously, but it was. It's literally called, if you go looking for one of these things, it's called the mother of all afros. And it's about that big, you know, like properly huge. And I had that on, and I was staggering out of a bar, and somebody grabbed it and ran for it. And the rest of it involved the police and a possible ABH charge. So I won't say any more about that. But I think it was decided
ABH, we're not all British.
So when it's gone beyond like a normal, big, nice little fight, I really liked that wig. And that was the point that the police broke it up, and I spent the night in the cell. So I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know if I won, but yeah, at least I didn't have to walk home. So that'll do. How about you, Lars?
Well, it's been about 20 years or so. I lived in Barcelona for about a year, and I lived with 3 Mexican, a Panamanian, 2 Panamanians actually. So we smoked a lot of weed. Not getting out of that. But they were super chill people, just the nicest, most wonderful, relaxed people.
Because they stoned the entire time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Played guitar on the balcony, all that crap. But this one Panamanian, he was just obnoxious. I mean, horribly obnoxious. I don't know if it's just because his personality clashed with mine or whatever, but we just got on each other's nerves.
Somebody didn't love you, that.
Yeah, it was very much. It was what's the word? It went both ways. Yeah, mutual. Thank you very much. Can't talk today, apparently. But one day he'd annoyed me more than average, and he fell asleep on a pool bed right next to the pool. So, of course, I had to walk over, and I woke him up by tipping him into the pool. that look on his face, the look of absolute confusion, and then falling into the pool. He beat my ass afterwards, and it was worth every goddamn second. I totally lost. I mean, he must have weighed like 80 pounds more than me, but totally worth it. I'd do it again. Yeah, that's it. I mean, no, can't expand on it. Didn't happen a lot more than that. I just had to do it.
I agree with you there. There are times when you can't help yourself, when you're like, I do it to Chrissy all the time. You know, when you know that you're in that, it's not a fight, but when you're in that situation where you know that your partner is annoyed and they're really annoyed, and you're sitting next to them and you're reaching out and you're like, and you feel that whole, like the feeling of tiptoeing along the edge of a cliff, going, I could hold my arms out here and I could just spin around and see if I live. That feeling when you just like, you uncontrollable giggles and you're like, and you start prodding your wife, and you know that your life expectancy is going like that each time. Yeah.
Okay. We actually had a bit of a plan going into this, not just blabbering and telling lies. There was this one thing I think we really should continue with, that we actually want to just, instead of just pimping our own stuff, because I mean, who would even know what they ought to buy from me? But we should really just go ahead and talk a tiny bit about some of the people who maybe don't get as much press, who really need more attention on themselves, their stuff, and their personalities, because they're just amazing. And well, we can just, I mean, I'll start, because not enough people have read the wonders that are the books of Nathan Amy.
I'll agree with you totally there. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the Black Dawn series is just, oh yeah. Oh, that one as well. Audit Team 6, I haven't finished the sequel yet, but the first one is just fucking amazing. It's about this series of auditors that go into dungeons and improve the dungeons, improve the fighting abilities, the cohesion, the theme, and everything. And it's just, you wouldn't imagine a series about auditors being fucking funny, but it is. It's so damn amazing. Just the idea of somebody going into a murder dungeon that basically consists of slime and rot, if I don't remember wrong, and then working on improving the proper feng shui of a slime dungeon.
It is, because this basically gives you a really good, accurate image. That this one in particular was written by not just Nathan Amy, it's also by Aaron Michael Ritchie, and they're both mental as fuck. There is no better way to describe them. They're both batshit, really are, and they're lovely, lovely people. So it's one of those stories where you can see it from the inside of their mind, because they look. I look at a dungeon and I go, either you're in charge and you want to kill everybody, or you're not in charge, in which case you want to take charge and you want to go in there, kill everybody, and nick everything. The fact that those are the only two possible outcomes for me, or points of reference, and Nathan and Aaron come in from a completely different direction, like, and that tells you all you need to know about them. They see the world so differently. It's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. You can just hear that wonderful high-pitched laugh of Aaron's. You can just hear it.
Oh god, honestly, what I will say, guys, is the other thing that I was talking about. They're thinking about. Yeah, yes, you are not wrong there, Matt. The best quote forever from Black Dawn is "Redneck Stitches." It's a spell that he casts, which is just duct tape, because that's what redneck stitches are. I mean, I love that. I absolutely love that, especially because I have been known to. So, for those who don't know, I'm married to a nurse, which means that I get very, very well looked after, but you get zero fucking sympathy. So when you do things like you break bones, if you break fingers, as long as there's not a bone actively sticking out, there's nothing hospitals can do for you, really, except sort of pat you on the head and go, there, that's nice. But it's nice to go along and get told, oh, you're a big, brave boy, good boy, here's a lolly, go home. And instead, my wife just goes, where's the duct tape? Yeah. Oh, you've got electrician's tape. That'll do. And duct tapes your fingers together, and that's like, get to work. So yeah, that shit works.
Totally.
Right. Oh, let's have a think. I mean, who should I talk about? Because I've got a couple of people that I always feel really deserve some attention. And one of the reasons that I feel that they deserve the attention is because they're just genuinely really, really nice people. Now, for those of you that don't know, as much as he is a giant, he's also a wonderful person, is Kev Sinclair. Now, Kev Sinclair is one of those people. He's basically the trio. There's usually the three of us together. And whenever we get together, you can expect that we're going to trash the place because that's the way we roll. But Kev Sinclair I've got some of his books over here. I'll see if the camera is going to follow me. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carnivo.
Conditional Evolution. Now, this is Kev's very first book. And this has been out 4 years now? I think 3 years. And it's totally different to most other stories. It's very dark and very violent, which I love. You can see the way that the character works through problems because I understand it, because it's how I work through problems, which is to say that I like to just go bull in a china shop. But it's also not the story you expect it to be. So if you read through this, I guarantee you that from the first like 5 or 6 chapters or so, the expectation you're finding, thanks, dude. The expectation at the end of the book that you're getting up until about chapter, I don't even know how many chapters there are, to be honest with you. Let's see. There's 15 chapters, right? Up until about chapter, I don't know, 10. So 150 odd pages in, you have no clue and absolutely no hint of what's going to come. You don't see what's going to come, and I highly recommend that. It's a brilliant book written by a genuinely really nice guy. But of course, if Kev is watching this, we will deny that he's a nice guy, because as good friends do, he's an absolute twat, because you have to give him abuse.
And if Kev's watching, Jez needs a new book. Sorry.
God damn it.
Totally agreed. Also, we need to point some fingers. That's super important, because there are a few people in the business, in and around, like narrators and the like, who are genuinely nice persons, and I think they're up to something.
Yeah.
And we should really point those out. Exactly. Like Stephanie Nemeth Parker. You know her. She's narrated a lot of excellent books in the lit RPG genre, and she's talented, she's nice, and she is beautiful, and there's no way she hasn't murdered like 10 to 20 people.
Oh yeah, totally. Nobody is that nice unless they've got like secrets.
Or they're like Steve Campbell and they're Canadian. I mean,
obviously Canadians don't count because they're Canadians. Yeah. I mean, it's like they apologise for being on this. In that case, I think if we're talking about absolutely lovely people, I'm going to have to mention, there's just no way I can avoid mentioning the wonderful Neil Helligers. For anybody that hasn't listened to Neil's stuff, he is The Good Guys, Bad Guys by Eric Hugland. Neil does all the narration for those, and it's just fucking wonderful. But also, it being Neil, when we met up with him, and we've met up with him a few times, and we've gone out and drank, he is just such a genuinely, genuinely lovely guy. And because we're talking about a genuinely lovely guy there, I'm going to throw in another one, Eric Hugland. The man is a giant bear, and he's just one of the nicest guys around. He is lovely, and I don't think people realise it.
And he owns the most expressive eyebrows known to mankind. It's really amazing. I mean, he can just make things work around. He looks like an entire circus all by himself. Sometimes I even fucking mute the chat if he's sprinting in the chat. Sometimes I just mute it and just watch him. It's bloody excellent entertainment.
For those that don't know, there's a few of us that sprint together, and we do a lot of video sprinting. So you'll be working, and you'll look at the screen, and you just like, and he's thinking about something. He's like, and some of the group do like video. What's the word? When they record with a voice, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, Lars?
Dictation.
Dictation, yeah. Dictators. So some of the group do that, so you'll see it's all silenced, obviously, because we're all on our own machines making noise, when I remember to silence mine. And some of the group are like, and it's just fucking hilarious to see at times.
It's true.
It's the right thing to do, John. We feel it's the nicer way, Byron. There are some, I think it's because, I can't speak for Lars here because I know he's a twat, but personally, I've worked in so many workplaces where I have worked with absolute bastards and like genuinely nasty people or unpleasant people.
Yeah, I've worked in a bank. That's worse.
Yeah. And so it's such a nice thing to work with some of these guys and to introduce them, you know, to meet them, to go to these events like Vegas that's coming up, and to meet these guys and find that they're genuinely nice people. Like Matt Dinnerman, he's an absolute lunatic and lovely. He is probably making 10 times more than anybody else in the lit RPG sphere at the moment. And he's also the most down to earth, and he stands us around at the bar still. So yeah, I trust anybody that buys me a drink, basically, or food.
Exactly. And some of the memories where I met people the first time, it was like Dimitris, for instance, like the Berserker series and the physics of the apocalypse. The first time I ever met him, he was just walking around introducing himself to people and handing over Rittersport chocolate.
Yeah.
That's the kind of dude he is. He's just like, people would probably like some chocolate. Here you fucking go. Yeah. Who does that?
I know.
Seriously.
Do you remember at the Dragon Con, not last year, the year before? Was it last year? Was it last year we were for Dragon Con? Or was it the year before? Well, anyway, when we were at Dragon Con, Emily Godhand walking around with little sachets to put into water to give you back the essential salts and so on, because everybody's hungover the next morning. She's like, just look after yourself, make sure you drank some water. And you're like, what kind of people do that? She's blatantly psychopath. She's got bodies hidden somewhere.
She's damaged. She's a nurse. She's been a nurse since forever. So I think you know what it's like. There's something hardwired a bit different up there, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I say, I'm married a nurse. I know they're fucking crazy.
Seriously. Okay.
I'll tell you who else we should mention as well. Stupid sexy Chatfield.
That dude. I mean, seriously. What I love the most about Chatfield is that he has 3 accents. And if you get him drunk, he proceeds through all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he does Canadian, he does American English, and then if you get him absolutely plastered, he ends in British English. And it's just amazing to experience.
It is. Chatfield's another of these guys that's just genuinely nice to everybody I've met. And fucking hate him. It's like, I've got a good collection of his books over here. If the camera will follow me. Well, hello. Just here. Oh. There's a collection of his the 10 Realms series there, and I absolutely love them. Chatfield is one of those people that when I first met him, we'd been writing, well, I know you'd been writing longer than I had. I'd only had my books out maybe a year at this point. First time I've met any of the other authors in the flesh, and Chatfield is horrifically successful. And we're sitting in a conference, and they're telling us all, it's a 20 books conference, and they're telling us all these things about how, like, this is how you run your business, this is how you should do this, you should do this, you shouldn't do this. And Chatfield turns to me, sees I'm making notes in this little book. He turns to me and goes, you know what? I've got all these notes already written. We could just go to the pub and talk about it. I was like, let's go to the fucking pub. And we proceeded to go to the pub for the next 3 days of the conference.
True.
And I learned more from him there, I think we all did, than we did from the conference at all.
Yeah.
It was worth
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I've had some really intelligent conversations with him, like 12 drinks in. He's actually, I mean, he has taught me quite a bit about writing craft, especially on characterization. That's
Mhm.
I'm using that today as well. One person we should mention who is just, there are people like Chatfield, for instance, who are different when you meet them as opposed to how you imagine them.
Yes.
Then there are some who are just the exact way that you imagine them and just all the way through the same goddamn vibe. Katie Hanna.
Yeah.
I mean, you meet her online. She's the nicest person ever. She thinks about you. She asks about you. And then you meet her in person and she has the most powerful mom vibe ever in person as well. She also gives great hugs. But she's
She's
the kind of...
genuinely lovely.
Exactly. I mean, she could go into a biker club and she could shame the hell out of everybody there, so they just changed their ways right that moment.
Or more likely, she'd go in and she'd start getting drunk with them all because she is also an Aussie. And, she'd be having all of them going, God, she swears a lot, doesn't she? She is lovely. She's absolutely batshit crazy. She's genuinely such a nice person. So, yeah, I would definitely add her in there as well.
You made mom say a bad word.
Honestly, she's absolutely fucking crazy. She is crazy, but she's such a nice person.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll tell you, actually, somebody else that doesn't get enough attention, that deserves some attention. Hey. Is Rin Smid. Or I'm never sure how to pronounce it. Jonathan Smid is the pen name. And Rin has done... oh, damn it, it's downstairs. Is my... I've got a copy
DCO?
of their Flame Spitter.
Oh,
Jonathan.
Flame Spitter, yeah.
Yeah. Elemental Gunslinger. That only came out a few weeks ago. And about 3 weeks ago, I think that came out. Totally different. I mean, I really enjoyed that, genuinely, to the point where it's so strange because it's a Western. And I mean, I said this on the review as well. It's like a Western to me hasn't been done in like 30 years because, it's not like the 80s anymore. But
the most 80s. Western thing I've read in my life is Cowboy Necromancer by Harmon Cooper. I mean,
yes.
And I mean, yeah.
And Harmon Cooper. Now we're on a Harmon. Harmon is mad. Absolutely mad boy. But genuinely nice again. I'll tell you who else, right? And this is very important. If you ever see this person, I'm going to find a book. Where is it? I know I have a copy. There we go. If you ever see this person out and about at any of the conventions, you will be surprised because this is one of the genuinely nicest people I've met out at any convention or anywhere else. And every time I see him, he makes a point to come up and to see if you're all right, to check on you, to give you a hug. And he's also a bugger for it. In that, yes, it was actually shitty. And he's also a bugger for it because if you go out for dinner with him, or if you're having dinner in the same building as this fucker, go to pay your bill, and they go, "Oh no, I'm sorry, it's already been paid." You going, "He's fucking here, isn't he? He's fucking here again. That bastard beat me to it." Daniel Schoenhofen.
Yeah. He
is a lovely, lovely person. And I would highly recommend reading his books if you like a bit of spicy. The Antecedents Legacy is brilliant if you like a bit of spicy again, but it's like Mech Warrior, and it's just fucking wonderful. It's a great series. But Daniel's a lovely, lovely guy. He really is.
Oh, okay. One person who also doesn't get mentioned enough, but who is absolutely batshit. You'll know it from the description, of course, because this is a person who doesn't drink. That, of course, is enough to make him quite suspicious in my eyes. But he also is just super nice and is an absolute Duracell bunny. So goddamn filled with energy, you think
If
he
he
was doing
drank it, it'd be
coke.
terrifying.
Exactly, I want to see it. I seriously want to see it. That, or maybe see him smoke weed or something. But
He'd
Jacob
just chill out.
Tanner is the most wonderful, speed talking, hyped up, insanely happy son of a bitch I've ever ran into. I can't wait to see the
Really
bastard
is.
next time.
He's always on the go. Look, okay, you might have heard this description, right? Children are midget energy thieves. Now, I firmly believe, as a parent, that is entirely true. I am permanently tired, and they are on like fucking Duracell bunnies. They are running like fuck. See, Chris, you knew it. And Jacob Tanner, I believe, is exactly the same. I think he's actually secretly a fucking vampire, and everybody around him are just like, "Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm tired," because their life force has been collected into one place, and it's Jacob Tanner. It's just Maria.
Okay.
You've got no idea, honestly.
Jay actually had one serious question, and I think we can handle one serious question for the entire life. But that's the limit. So, legit question time. How do you two come up with names for your characters? It's something I keep struggling with, as I don't want to call them Bob or Frank, which is ridiculous because Bob, for me, is the perfect Fallout themed name. Just kidding. His name's Bob. Anyway, you want to swing this one, or do I start?
Well, let's face it. I'm not exactly well known for my wonderful creative names. I mean, I did have a main character called Jax, and then in my next series, Ajax, because I totally forgot that I called him fucking Jax.
Next series is gonna be a Jaxo.
Yeah, don't tell me. We named Harry Cabot from the Arkham series because I saw the cat walk past and show me her butt again, and so it was like Cabot. Ta-da! How do we pick names? There's two methods I use, which is a fuck ton of books around my office, as you will have seen, and pick names, first names or second names from all of those. The other thing is I pick a country and I do a Google search for most popular names in that country, because obviously the names that are perfectly normal in the Western world are totally different in the Middle East, in the Eastern Europe or wherever. So when I'm finding alien names, or creatures' names or anything like that, I take one of those and then just twist it a little bit. So, fuck off. I've used that as well.
All right, I think it's about getting time. Maybe we should pimp our own stuff just to show everybody that we can be bought and that we're totally available. All right.
You first, sir.
Totally. I am right this moment. I'm working on Theft of Decks books 2 and 3, and I've got them both in the different stages of the part. So if you're into rogue main characters who run with the Dungeons and Dragons movie vibe, I mean, the good one, obviously, then that's definitely a series to go for, and books 2 and 3 are in process. Book 4 will come straight afterwards. And then every damn Friday, I am working on the final book in my World of Change series. So my board series will be done pretty soon as well. How about you, mate?
Well, dude, I am working on the next book in the... I didn't know I could do that. I'm hiding. The next book in the Rise of Mankind series, so that's Age of Stone. Oh, the sexy beast is there himself. This is Age of Stone. This is the first book in the series. I'm currently working on book 8, which is Age of Conquest. We like the chains. And book 6 just came out about a month ago, thereabouts. I think it was about a month. And book 7 comes out in 2 weeks, I believe it is.
Nice.
2 weeks tomorrow, yeah. So I'm pretty fucking busy. I know Lars is extremely busy. Thank you, Jamie. and we're both alcoholics. But I think the best thing that I can say from my side at the end of this is thank you, Geneva, for running all of this. I know that Alaron does all of the sort of organizes the Guildify. He asks for it and picks the details and stuff. But the person who does all the work is Geneva. So
that right there.
thank you, Geneva.
Hey, Kevin been here for ages. Kevin Sinclair been here for ages, but couldn't get the chat to work. That is just so goddamn.
That is just him. Yep. Yeah, there's a photo of me strangling Rob. I'm going to share that photo at some point. Yep. Kev. You big sexy beast.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. I think. Then apart from that, obviously the audiobook for Theft of Dex 1 is going to be out in nearly 2 months, just before Christmas, and it's by Vickers
Tuesday
Adam.
Before Christmas, about the 17th, I think it is, off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. And Vickers Adam, I still can't believe I managed to snag him. I'm really looking forward to hearing him do his thing.
If anybody hasn't read it yet, Theft of Dex is fucking brilliant. So, it's fucking true, that's what I meant. Well, thank you all, guys. I know we're slightly over our time, so we shall fuck off, Ski, and let you guys get on with your night. Awkward way of time.
Slow way.